Hello, this will be a video overview of our APA abstract. To find the overview of this particular assignment, please look below Module 7, the APA American Psychological Association documentation, and click on letter A. Now, when you click on letter A, you're going to notice that you have this particular handout, and it offers step-by-step instructions on how you're going to do this assignment. In our last class period, I overviewed our first task. Remember, I wanted you to go on our Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College website, okay, and click on My Gulf Coast, and then go to the library website, and then you're going to click on databases, and then you're going to be prompted, of course, to find a database. And I want you to look under Academic Search Complete. When you click on Academic Search Complete, you are going to be required to give your M number and your PIN number. Again, and this is the same information that you use to sign into Canvas or web services. And again, I mentioned last time, I want you to find an article that you feel overviews a web application that you think could be beneficial to you and also to your classmates. Again, this web app could be used for academics, whether those academics are for writing or for reading or for grammar, because we're in an English class. However, they could be for other classes as well. I know some of you are in disciplines that are going to be more geared toward mathematics or medicine. They can be apps that would be useful for those particular schools or curriculums. You also can find apps that you think would be beneficial to you or your classmates psychologically or mentally. I've had students who find apps that deal with meditation and they're really helpful. Also, just like simple things like note-taking and scheduling. Look for apps that you feel would be helpful. Again, you need to find an article that overviews either maybe one app or maybe overview several apps, and maybe there's one app in the mix that you feel would be beneficial to share with your classmates. So that's your first assignment. Find your article on Academic Search Premier, and don't forget to email it to yourself or print it out. Also, make sure that you get the publication information in APA formatting, because you need to email that or save it or print it out, because you're going to need that for your abstract assignment. And then, of course, you can actually start writing the assignment. Now, you're going to notice after you do the research, that's task one, number one, the research aspect, you then are going to start actually writing your abstract. Now, an abstract is not difficult. It's only a 3-page assignment. You have a title page, cover page, then you have the abstract page, and then finally you have the reference page, which is similar to a works cited page if you've done that in an MLA article or, assignment. Now, as far as the first page, please keep in mind that for an APA documented writing assignment, remember APA is American Psychological Association, you always are required to have a title or cover page. It's mandatory. It doesn't matter if you're writing an abstract, a tiny writing assignment, or a research paper in APA format. Now, I've kind of given you in this worksheet sort of a guideline of how you structure your actual cover page. We're going to title our particular assignment APA abstract. Then you're going to put your name, our course code, my name, and then the date, which will be, of course, our due date, which is upcoming. And you're going to notice I have on the very next page kind of an example for you. This is what your title page is going to look like. Now, one thing I want to make note of is this is different from MLA documentation. In MLA documentation, your header is your last name and your page number. And you use both lowercase and capital letters. Like, if I was to have a research paper, it would have Ferguson 1 on the first page, and the F would be capitalized, but everything else would be lowercase. However, in APA documentation, you do not use your last name for the header. You actually used a condensed form of your assignment title or your essay title. In this case, our assignment title is APA Abstract. So your header is going to be APA Abstract. Now you're going to notice the title right here, we only have APA capitalized because it's an acronym for American Psychological Association. And then the abstract, the A is capitalized, but everything else is lowercase. But on your title, okay, it's lowercase and capital letters, but on your header, you're going to use all caps. So whenever you have APA abstract right here, that's going to run from your first page, your cover page, all the way to your reference page, and it's going to be in all capital letters. One other thing I want to make note of is your running head. This is telling your reader this is your running header for the rest of the assignment. This is only on your first page. If you look at the example, and the example you'll notice is underneath Module 7, and it's the APA Abstract Student example. You're going to see that the running head is only on the first page, the title page. If we scroll down and look at the abstract page, notice there's no running head here. And also we look at the reference page. There's no running head. I know this sounds very, very simple, but I have so many students on the abstract that they forget this. Make sure that that running head is only on the title page. It's not on the abstract page or on the reference page. If you have Microsoft Office, you may want to go into your header, and you're going to notice what you can do. Go into Insert, go into Header, then Edit Header, and you can actually tell your document that you want a different first page. And that way you can actually add the running head with your header, and then your second and your third page will have then the APA Abstract 2 and the APA Abstract 3. Okay, and I'm going to get out of this and mention just a few other details about our assignment. Okay, now as far again as the assignment as a whole, you have your title page, which we've mentioned that. Just make sure you follow the structure I have listed here. Use this as a guide. Okay, and again, the structure, it's going to be Times New Roman, 12 font, double spaced. Okay, that's your structure. It's similar to what you did with your Comp 1 essays last semester. Now, that's the first page, the title page, which is required always with an APA assignment. Now, your second page, and this is your third task, is the actual abstract. An abstract is a summary. In this case, you are summarizing the content of the article that I asked you to find on Academic Search Complete. Now, I tried to make this as simplistic as possible. I have these bullets, and they explain kind of chronologically how you can set up your abstract. Think of your first sentence as kind of a thesis statement. You want it to overview your article title in quotation marks. You can mention where you found the article. Maybe you want to mention where the article was originally written, like a magazine or a newspaper, and you would put that title in italics. You may want to also mention the database where you found it, Magnolia Project, Academic Search Premier. You also need to mention the author's name. Now, please remember that in APA documentation, you never use an author's first and middle name, only initials. So even though up here you may have, Todd Lane Stringer, you're going to put TL Stringer, okay? And you use, again, initials, even though you're given the name in the actual article. Use initials with APA. Also, in that first sentence, you're just going to overview what the article states. Like when you look at the student example, you're going to notice we're going to the second page here. This particular student's first sentence is M. Talbert. Okay, that's the author's name. Article. This is the article title. Top 10 apps that teachers and their students can use from Ethos. That's the original source, likely the magazine or journal where they found it. Lists 10 web apps that could aid students and teachers in a wide variety of subject areas. Okay. Now, then what this particular student does, since their article had basically 10 apps, they overview the fact the article discussed 10 apps, but then they focus in on one. This student wants to focus in on grade proof. Now, make sure to put your app in italics, its title. And then the student goes through why grade proof is so beneficial based on what's discussed in the article. How is it helpful to users in their writing, in their grammar, in a sense? And you're going to notice with the instructions that I give you, there's some other things that you can add in your abstract. Notice with the second bullet, and you may not have this information, but if you do, please put it. If you have any information about your author's background in education, like their degrees where they went to college or their profession where they work, put that information. It shows the credibility of the author, that we can trust this individual and what they're telling us about this app or these apps if there's more than one discussed. But if you don't have that, just skip through it. Now, the meat really of your abstract, it is going to be likely your, third to fourth sentences. This is where you're breaking down very specifically the main ideas of this app that you're going to be discussing in detail and how it's beneficial, its uses, but you need to take the content from the article. What does the article tell us about this particular web app? Now, I don't want you to use first person or second person. Again, first person, I, me, second person, you. I want you to use third person like users, students, writers, individuals, people. Use language like that when you're talking about the usage of this. And again, this is an objective summary. You're basically just telling us, if someone was to ask you, what is this article about? Tell us the article's content. Tell us about what it discusses in reference to the app. You're not being subjective. You're not telling us that this is a well-written article or if it's badly written. Hopefully it's a good, article as a whole. You don't want to tell us that information. You're just relaying the content of the article and the web app and how it's useful. And then you have a concluding sentence. I'm not going to read this whole abstract to you, but you're going to notice that this particular student overviews grade proof. So we as the reader have no doubt kind of its usage and its benefits. And this last sentence just kind of concludes with how to access it and that it's free. And that's like the benefit of it. Now, as far as the last page of your abstract, you're going to notice is the reference page. Now, if you used the college website, if you went to mgcc.edu, went to, My Gulf Coast, the libraries, and then used Academic Search Premier, you were able to access this publication information very easily. You can copy, you can paste it into your reference page. Just make sure that your text is Times New Roman, it's double spaced. Make sure you have a hanging indentation where your first line of your publication information is the 1-inch margin, and then the second and the third, or maybe even the fourth line of publication information is indented. Now, one thing I want to make note of that sometimes is tricky for students, your article title on your reference page is in lowercase letters except for the first letter of the article, and notice there's no quotation marks. That's different in your actual abstract. Notice there's quotation marks here. So I just wanted to kind of make note of that. Also, you need to follow the structure. As far as APA, you always know you have APA publication information when you see the author's last name. There's always an initial, not a full name. This is the date of publication. This is the article title, not in quotations on the reference page, but in quotation marks in the abstract or the articles or the essay if this is for another assignment. Ethos is where this was originally found, a magazine or newspaper. This is a volume, issue number, page numbers, and you actually have to put retrieved from. Now, for some reason, you don't use the college website and library and you go out just on Google and search an article, that's fine, but you need to be aware that you may need to go to this APA quick guide or to this Al Purdue website so it can show you how to do your publication information correctly in APA format for a website or for an article. You also can use websites like easybib.com or Landmark Citation or Citation Maker to create your publication information for your reference page. However, make sure it's APA format and make sure when you copy and paste over, it's correct. As far as the APA abstract, again, just make sure you work on this assignment. If you want to let me see a draft of this, I'll be happy to look at it. Again, just remember it's your title page, your cover page, your abstract, and then your reference page. Thank you.